is the last intact old-growth valley south of Clayoquot Sound. We will have to look at our grandchildren and say, hey, either we let it go because it didn't matter, we didn't value it, or we say, this is the time, this is the government that promised to do it, and they're going to follow through on it. The advice of the panel was immediate deferrals on exactly this kind of watershed.
Ecosystem that has evolved relatively undisturbed since the last ice age, over 10,000 years in the making, that contains more plant biomass than any ecosystem on Earth. In 3 years, there won't be anything left to protect. Full stop. The future of our own children is hanging in the balance. In the last minute to...
More than 80% of British Columbia is covered with forest. Yet, BC has more threatened and endangered species than any other province or territory in Canada. This is because second-growth forests are profoundly different, both structurally and functionally, from old-growth forests. Second-growth forests provide a poor habitat for species who thrived in old-growth forests. We must protect old-growth forests. Learn more at ancientforestalliance.org.
I'm sure this is going to be a controversial opinion for someone in the logging industry, but right now in Vancouver Island, they're harvesting old growth that's up to 1,200 years old, and all I can think of is why. Why do we need to log these trees? Logging and forestry can be really sustainable if it's done well. You can see behind me here, there's a forest in different stages of growth. What we do is we log it, we go in, we replant it for future generations. There's no shortage of timber in Canada that says we need to go after old growth. The trees they're logging are about 400 years older than Notre Dame Cathedral. Remember how sad we were when that burnt down a couple years ago? Imagine if they went in, knocked down Notre Dame because stone prices were high. Now, the First Nations ancestors of Canada didn't leave us big cathedrals like the European ancestors. What they did do was leave us forest in relatively untouched states. We're doing a disservice to them and our future generations by logging Fairy Creek and the old growth.